Hey guys, Island Turtle here. Welcome to BOMISpirit. I just wanted to go live real quick. Um, today, I'm sure some of you guys got to be feeling these vibes because I'm sure I'm not the only one. I did speak a little bit of, well, actually, maybe I didn't speak about this during the weekly. This week has definitely had some intense energy, but today Uranus goes retrograde and Pluto moves into Capricorn in its retrograde phase. Wait, is this public? I'm pretty sure this is public. It might just be taking people a hot minute to climb up in here. Or YouTube is glitching. I don't know. We're gonna find out. But anyway, um, yeah, these shifts are definitely major. A lot of you know, and okay, I definitely have been speaking on this, where Pluto moving back into Capricorn, it will shift back into Aquarius November. I want to say November 19th, and then it'll stay in Aquarius for 20 years, right? I've been talking about this for months. I feel like I've actually probably been talking about this for over a year at this point. But this will be the last time Pluto will be in Capricorn for 200 some years, right? And it is important, and it is offering some closure, if you will, as far as what Pluto has been breaking down for us personally, individually, and obviously collectively, right? And today has been, for me personally, a very strange day that I feel like has been very eye-opening, and I have come full circle, even though it's like the day's almost like practically over here anyway in the States. Um, and I just feel like it's important to kind of talk about it. And I wish I had kind of come to the clarity days ago so I could have done like an Island Turtle Talk episode, but that's okay. We're just doing this old school, the way we've always done it over here. Girl, I'm going through it. Hello from SoCal. Hi, Ginger. Hey, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Nice surprise to see you today. Because I actually was trying to finish Capricorn and Pisces to put on Patreon, and I've been having just like this just energetic difficulty, along with some physical stuff that I kind of mentioned either yesterday, the day before. Time is real weird right now. Okay. I became aware of why energetically things have been so wonky, at least for me. And so some of you can probably relate. So I'm just sharing my experience here in hopes that it can support you guys or help you guys with whatever it is you're going through. Now, for those of you who have known me, and even for those who are maybe new, welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. I'm a dream walker. I was born with certain shamanic just abilities, and I've spent the last few years really cultivating them, right? Really embracing them, really embodying them. And today was a day of remembering that. And this was all happening through the realm of dream time and sleep and my telepathy and just all kinds of things that I've been really utilizing today as far as my own abilities are concerned. And coming full circle to the live, I'm like, okay, that's what this is. It's like Pluto moving back into Capricorn. There is a remembrance that's happening, which I think has actually been really needed because there's been so much pushing into the new. And when we go into new cycles, new generational shifts, because that's also what Pluto is, right? It's like Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, they're all generational planets. Pluto has been touching in Aquarius for the last like year and a half, right? We've been having this like weird back and forth, and it's been kind of jolting. Like, I know it's been jolting for the collective. It's been jolting for me, so I know it's been jolting for other people of like, wait, we're doing this now, but like I'm not clear. This is foggy and weird, but I was doing this. Wait, is this wrong? And like, you know what I mean? It's like there's been this weird back and forth. At the same time, we have Neptune moving into Aries. Almost said Neptune moving into Uranus. We have Neptune moving into Aries next year. That's another generational shift. And we also have Uranus moving into Gemini in, I want to say, 2026. And that's another generational shift. So we have three major generational shifts that have been happening, just astrologically speaking. And that's jarring. And that is jolting. And I think a lot of people have been trying their best to get their sea legs with these shifts, right? Wait, what is seeing things with these shifts? And so Pluto going back into Capricorn, this is the breath that I've been feeling, and I'm like, oh my God, thank you. It's like, thank you for allowing me to come full circle so I could share this with you guys. So I've also been talking about how September is going to feel like a breath. It's going to feel like a sigh of relief, or even like a breath of fresh air, and like your ability to breathe life back into yourself or back into certain things. I talked about this a lot on the New Moon Virgo hangout yesterday. It's not posted on Vimeo yet. I've been busy clearly doing this stuff. But it is over on Patreon if you guys want to check it out. Okay. Uh, this Pluto Capricorn shift is the breath of fresh air. It's this breath of remembrance. It's this breath of familiarity. Hold on a second. Hold on. For some people, in the shuffle of getting pushed into new everything or new energies or new whatever, right? These generational shifts, there has been this lack of clarity of what is familiar and what can really be taken forward. And so from now until November, there is this really nice energy actually that Pluto and Capricorn is giving us of, things that have always been a part of us that we can take forward, that we don't need to throw away or throw the baby out the bathwater, so to speak, just because we do feel so much unknown and so much possibility. I think there's parts of the collective, myself included, that have been struggling with getting rid of parts of their life or parts of their beliefs that actually should probably stay intact, right? That actually are part of you and that it's okay. Every time we get pushed into a cycle or again a generational shift where things are breaking down, there are things that get broken down that don't necessarily need to. So allow this remembrance to just nourish you and support you. I talked a lot about this remembrance again on the new moon Virgo, and allow that to be support for you as we are continuing to get pushed into even more generational, collective, global shifts while we are individually trying to navigate that and not lose ourselves in it, right? There's that. But then also, what coincides with this remembrance is the fact that we do get closure. So that is also coming with clarity of, yes, you don't need to get rid of these things or these parts of you, or don't forget about who you really are, right? And what has brought you here, but also recognize and make peace with the pieces that maybe do need to go away, right? So it's a period of closure, it's a period of remembrance, and it may be coming through in really bizarre ways or really intense ways. And probably has also coincided with certain things or experiences that you have been having for the last, Lord, well, probably since 2008. Right? Probably since Pluto's been in Capricorn or moved into Capricorn, but really I want to say the last, like, can't even do math, like the last third of it. Hold on, let me do math right now. My head is still like from all the traveling I've been doing today. Like the last 5 years. Yeah, because it's like we're talking about 16 years ish, right? Yeah, we're talking 16 years ish. So a third of that would be like 5 years or so, give or take a year, right? This is not exact math when we're talking about astrology and energy, but yeah, particularly the last third, because I've spoken about this with Pluto. My viewpoints of Pluto is that when Pluto moves into a sign, there's like these three phases of it, where the first third is like, is kind of getting thrown into that sign energy that we are about to break down and explore, right? Because Pluto, what Pluto likes to do is Pluto likes to get deep into something and then show us what's messed up about it and then help us evolve out of it, right? That's what Pluto likes to do. So when Pluto moves into Aquarius, the first third year, of that cycle, which is going to be about 6-7 years, the first 6-7 years of Pluto being in Aquarius, there's going to be a lot of embodying the shadow of Aquarius. I got to be honest with you guys, like embodying the shadow of what it is to be a community or a collective. And that is going to fall in lines with like cults and things like that. And people being a little bit high and mighty about what they think they know. Sorry, just as what it is. That is definitely going to be part of it. There's also going to be some embodiment of distortion and shadow of AI and technology and all of that, but it serves a purpose, because if we can fully embody the shadow, we can then transmute, and then we can break it down, and then we can come back to the light and evolve. And we've been doing that with Capricorn, with government, institution, and what it means to be successful and achieve and ambition. And that's all Capricorn too. And also with legacy, right? So in terms of the shadow of that, there has been a lot of dealing with power dynamics, our relationship with power, the unhealthy forms of that, obviously the unhealthy forms of government, right? And what it means to govern people and the things that can go wrong when that happens, right? These are just like examples of what we have been evolving with Capricorn and seeing what doesn't work as far as a physical structure is concerned. But the beautiful part of that with the next few months is we are gaining closure of a lot of those things, which means that we are also probably going to see some really cool shifts out of that, being birthed out of that, where we can rise out of that. Now, again, we are going to be ushered into Aquarius, where people are going to be embracing Aquarius, including the shadow. So just be mindful that whatever we all decide to engage in the next 6 7 years, right, or what we see play out in the next 6 7 years, it may feel right, it may feel good. We may come to realize 20 years later how that was not okay. Okay, how there were some like distorted things about the next 6 7 years when we come to the 20-year cycle end of it. But it's part of the process, it's part of life, it's part of growth. So enjoy the next couple of months where there is a sense of comfort and familiarity of you, remembering pieces, parts of you, parts of your experience that maybe you have felt dissonance with recently or doubts with recently. It's about claiming that. You can even look at this as like a little bit of a collective soul retrieval in a way. I feel like I want to talk about what's going on in dream time, but we'll get back to it. Sorry, so many things. That's why my head is covered. Coming back. Enjoy the remembrance. Enjoy any soul retrieval that is going on right now, because it is going to be comforting. It is going to be supportive. It is going to feel like a breath of fresh air where you feel very solid in, I didn't have to get rid of that. I actually do enjoy that. You know what? That is who I am, and that's okay. It does feel a little bit of like putting things back together. And then again, with the closure part of saying goodbye to things that have served you to get to this point, and maybe even just getting full final clarity and confirmation of what you really do not need to take with you and what you can, and being comfortable in that as we get into the new. So just think of it that way. Some of you, there's probably been a lot of just like energetic bombardment with Uranus also coinciding with Pluto. At first, I wasn't even worried about Uranus going retrograde today. Well, Pluto moved back into Capricorn. But but I can see the impact of Uranus now. I can see it, and more than see it, I can feel it. I can feel it. I feel like I am in a tube of electricity right now, and I have been feeling that way. And so again, this is a day where I came full circle with this like understanding and just, okay, I get it. And maybe some of you already knew that all this stuff was going on, but yeah, just wanted to share. Also, don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying this. We got like 70 likes. We got over 200 people in here. Pretty please like the video. It helps people get the messages. I'm 48 hours into a fast that I embarked on for health reasons. Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, the level of body awareness, man. Oh, I know it's part of my experience, but I know it's definitely part of your experience too, because we are a collective, right? We are all connected in some way, shape, or form. Even if you aren't experiencing it majorly, maybe you're experiencing it minorly, right? But the amount of like just heightened awareness I have had of my body and what I am feeling is just a lot. It's a lot. I've been sick all weekend. I've learned to feel safe in my body again. Nice. Oh, I love hearing that. Today, I feel like I've finally been able to let go and live in the new. Closure is so close. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is the end of a major cycle, too. Globally, this is the end of a major cycle. And some of you, it may have just been a cycle that's coinciding with the last third of the Pluto cycle of Capricorn. So the last like 5 years, or maybe it's been the whole entire freaking cycle of since, what was it, 2008, the last like 15 years or so. I think you are the reader for the readers. I am. I absolutely am. Like, there are therapists for people, and then there are therapists for therapists. So it's really special. Oh, and your audience is not as crowded as other people. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for saying that. I really do appreciate that, because I do feel like I am. Just because the way that I get information, it's just like, this is not for average Joe. It's just like, it's just not. It is not for the average Joe. And that's okay. With my channel, this is just going off on tangents here, but with my channel like exploded at first and not intentional. I just and don't even need to get into that conversation. But I started doing this because I just was guided to do it. I mean, honestly, I was guided to do it. I didn't have any expectations. I just did it because it felt fulfilling. That's how I started, right? And then to my shock and awe, the channel exploded and I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna roll with it. I was like, this was clearly a gift, so I'm just gonna roll with it, right? Um, so I did, and it's just been a crazy ride. And then I did hit a spot where I like plateaued as far as like numbers and stuff are concerned, but numbers are just numbers. That's all they are. But I have met so many people along the way where unfortunately they started doing this from a place of wanting money or wanting to be known or whatever, wanting to be a guru or whatever, um, which is really unfortunate because, like, I understand those wants and those desires just on a human level, but that's not sustainable for your soul, right? Because that, like, those are very human wants. Those are very, I don't want to say ego driven, but kind of, right? Desires. And so they're not going to be sustainable. But it just says a lot about a person too, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with wanting money. That's also part of this experience. Nothing wrong with that. But it definitely indicates the kind of people you're catering to and the people that you want to be of service to, if that's your focus, right? I've ever since the beginning, that's my focus has really just been, I'm doing this because I feel led. I'm doing this because it is fulfilling. And I'm doing this because I feel like I can't not. Like, I feel like I can't not. Um, and that was also something I remembered today where it was like, oh yeah, not that I haven't been like lacking in my awareness of that, but like my life has been so, just like most of you, my life has been so like this, right? And it's definitely been a test of my faith. And today it was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That is why I am here. I am here to serve and to support other people, and it does feel really good. It does. If oh 222 111 as I said that, so it feels good to just come back to that. Yeah, it feels good to just like come back to that. Um, show your love, like the message. Yes, thank you. What's your opinion on cross-watching readings? Is it a form of external validation and therefore unhealthy? It can be. It's all about intention, right? It's all about intention. Like, I definitely look at readings as far as like watching other people. I don't do it nearly as often as I used to, but when I'm guided to watch something, I'm guided to watch something, right? And I just follow that. I just follow that gut instinct. I follow that intuitive pull. But also when it comes to signs, and I've said this before, but we are a collective. And so every sign reading is kind of a collective reading in a way, because we're also all the signs. We have all the signs on our charts according to the houses, right? You may not have a planet placement or celestial body in a particular sign, but you have all the signs in your houses because that's like astrology is literally the study of how the stars affect our lives, the study of how the stars affect us and how these energetic shifts that are really rooted in the coding of the fabric of all things in the universe, which is also why we look at the stars for that, just what it can bring for us. And so we are all collective, and so all the signs are collective. So you can watch another sign they're not used to watching if you feel guided to watch it, and also in a way where it's like maybe there is a nugget of information in there for you. I have definitely been known to watch all the signs, just because I felt guided to, or it felt like, you know what, something about this reading, like I gotta watch this. But if you're watching it from a place of you're cross watching to like see what's going on with someone you're interested in or a family member, yeah, just keep in mind, like, you could be doing that from a place of, oh, Natasha! Hey, Natasha! Happy birthday! Happy birthday. I hope you're doing something fun today, even if it's just having a cupcake or something cool like that. Um, Oh, wow. Congratulations on the engagement, Ivy. Congratulations. Um, but yeah, as far as cross watching, that's my opinion. It's like you got to just be aware of why you're doing something and what place you're coming from on it, you know? If you're doing it to just kind of enable your own emotional attachment, probably not the healthiest thing. But we're also human, and sometimes we do need a little bit of comfort. Sometimes we do need a little bit of reassurance, but also because of how many different readings there are out there, people can definitely pick a reading they just want to feel good about. Which unfortunately happens a lot. Like I can't even tell you how many times people have, excuse me, poo-pooed my readings because it wasn't all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. You know? Um, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to stroke your ego. I'm here to be supportive. I'm here to offer guidance where I can. I'm here to talk about what's going on collectively to hopefully in a way that gives you some support in navigating your own life. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just I'm just offering support, right? This is very appropriately timed talking about remembering. I've been looking over the past few seasons of life and bringing things full circle. Yes. Life isn't always sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. Right. And sometimes I do get those readings, which is kind of surprising because it's like, if life is really awesome and great, you probably don't need a lot of support and guidance in that moment. But sometimes those messages come through because the confirmation is needed. Or sometimes people do need a little bit of like, hey, the sun is coming, you know? And spirit does want us to be happy. Spirit does want us to feel like life is worth living, right? And so, sometimes those messages will come through. You hold space, divine messages, and creating community. So blessed. Oh, thank you. Many people want love and romance readings, not spiritual growth. I've been guilty of that. We all have. It's human. It's human. We are human, and it is okay. Being human is to really walk all of the spectrum of what it is to have the polarity of good and bad, in a physical body with an emotional component. Like, that is what it is to be human, right? It is okay. And again, that's also why, like, I don't judge anyone for watching sign readings, watching love readings. Like, it's just human. And it's okay. Um, yeah. I think that that is also something that will be coming out of Pluto being an Aquarius of we're human and it's okay. But I think that's going to come at the tail end, to be honest with you. I think there's going to be a lot at the forefront of being exemplary humans. I can feel that a little bit, which kind of bums me out. But, I can just feel the judgment. I can feel judgment there, which, like, it's funny because even the last few years, we've talked a lot about how, judgment is a line to be walking, right? When you're talking about other people. But even in like the last year, I've seen a lot of just content and even just observing how people speak, right? Where people feel like they almost have a right or an entitlement to judge another person because, well, one, it is human to judge. So also, this is just part of the other end of the spectrum being human, because it keeps us safe, or it keeps people like in integrity if you can judge them or even shame them. And it's like that, I think, is the shadow of Aquarius. So hopefully we can work through that quickly. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I do think the acceptance of all of the experience of what it is to be human and the peace of that will be coming out of the end of Pluto being an Aquarius, out of the end of the 20-year cycle. I do feel that, and that feels nice. Your readings and videos overall have been so supportive, especially when I was coming into my own understanding and practice of spirituality. Yeah, separate from familial traditions. Good. Or self-judgment. Yeah, so I feel like self-judgment, I feel like we have definitely been working through that. All this Chiron Aries shit, right? That we've been going through for years now. It ain't over. It ain't over. Uh, uh. Yeah, Chiron Aries, that's been a huge helping hand there, right? Um, but judging others, shaming others, Um, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I can feel that that's probably going to stick around for a while. Um, mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. To me, all judgment blocks the heart. It's funky business, right? Because like I said, like judgment is also very human. It is very human. Um, and I know, like, in terms of speaking of global evolution, collective ascension, and all these words, I gotta be honest, I'm so sick of these words. I'm so sick of these soundbitey words in our community. Um, yes, are we evolving? Yeah, but we're evolving generationally. Is there a more cosmic, divine component? Yeah, but I think we have really great, like grandized. Is that a word? That's not a word. That feels like it's not a word, but maybe it is. Grandized? Someone tell me. Someone help me here. I'm not conjugating this word correctly. I know I'm not. Um, I love that you make your own vocab. That's deeper, richer. I can't help it. I have always struggled with words, and I feel like there's something that even just aggrandized. Maybe that's what it is. Thank you, Keith. Grandized, like over grandized, right? Aggrandized all of what's really happening collectively. It's natural evolution. It is. It's just natural evolution. Like, think back to, well, the last 200 some years, right? The last Pluto Capricorn cycle. The last Pluto Capricorn cycle coincided with the birth of the United States, right? And think about the beliefs back then. The beliefs people had, the crazy evil shit that people thought was okay, right? And look how much we've evolved, right? This is the kind of evolution we're talking about. And that also coincided with more like industrial sort of evolution. And I think we are having a little bit more of a social consciousness evolution, but it's not like we're all going to be like ascending to a far, far away planet with all of our galactic beings. Like, no, I definitely don't think that's going to be happening. I think they're there. I think a lot of us know that they're there. And I think the awareness of them, that is also opening up, and that's part of it. But we're really here to just, we're really entering a cycle where we are just evolving socially into much more of a cohesive global population, which is inevitable. And like, I've been watching some political stuff here and there, not too much, just a little smidgens to keep myself relatively informed. And it's interesting because even with like watching political stuff, what really captures my mind is not even the political stuff. If that makes any sense. I feel like the political stuff, it just like my brain just can't absorb it. Like something vibrationally, my brain is just like, boo, like it just doesn't like it just cannot take that shit in. But there's a YouTuber that I have been watching recently. What's her name? I do enjoy her quite a bit because she's very educational, which you know me, I am a major fan of tangible, solid information and education. But she's also just has a very enjoyable presence and she's very intelligent and you could just tell she's a good human. Hold on. I'm gonna look up her name and put her, give you guys the recommendation because I do think you guys would enjoy her. Hold on a second. See if I can find her on here. I think I subscribed. She is a political channel, just a heads up. She be political, but she doesn't necessarily like ascribe to hardcore, this is right, this is wrong. She just gives information, which I love. Because that's really what's empowering, right, is information. Hold on. Where is she? Where is she be? Okay, this is another issue I'm having with YouTube. I know I subscribed to her. Why is she not at the top of my subscription list? If I've subscribed to her like recently, right? Oh, Lord have mercy. Come on. Oh, there she is. Leisha Miller? Leeja Miller? Leisha Miller. Um, so anyway, so I was watching one of her videos and she was talking about how there are some people here in the United States that want to leave because of political stuff going on. That's definitely not a new notion. I think we've all been. Oh, you okay? Yeah, so you know her. She's got a lot of subscribers. So she's got a decent reach. But what was I saying? So she put out a video on Americans who want to leave the United States because of political stuff. And so she explored the numbers. She did like just like a little study with her own subscribers, which is not a total complete study, and she makes that very clear, but also kind of informative. And she actually interviewed some people who did leave the United States and they moved to Amsterdam. And it was so interesting to me because everything they were talking about, one, this whole notion of they are happy, but they also recognize that like no matter where you go, it's going to be hard. And there are some privileges here in the United States that we do take for granted that we don't really become aware of until we leave or until we are in another country, right? So there's that. But also, a lot of them are commenting on the irritation and the upsetness and the anger that a lot of Europeans are having about immigration, right? Immigration's a whole topic, as we know, in most Western countries. But I'm not here to talk about the details of that. What I wanted to talk about though is like the emotional and spiritual implications of that too. Because at the end of the day, I don't know why people do not see that it's inevitable that we become just a global united population. It's inevitable. The world has gotten so much smaller. The borders or boundaries that we're all trying to maintain are illusionary anyway. They are man-made anyway. You can't stop a human from migrating at this point, especially with all the ways that we can literally just move about this planet. And also, given the population levels, at some point, everyone's just going to have to realize and recognize, oh, we're just a bunch of animals roaming around on this planet that we've also allowed to make easier to roam around on this planet. It doesn't make sense to have these invisible gates to wrangle and maintain the sheep here and the pigs here and the horses here. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Just like, it really doesn't make any sense. So it's like the faster we get with the program, as far as recognizing just the evolution of the population numbers itself on a finite planet with finite resources, well, not technically finite, but that's a whole other conversation. The easier shit's gonna get, right? The smoother things can run, but there's a lot of difficulty with change, right? And that's also the reality of it. It's like people are so afraid of change. Like the fact that they were talking about Europeans being so angry, and like obviously we angry people here in the States about that too. I know this is a sensitive topic, right? But the level of anger to me is baffling. Like I can't wrap my head logically around the anger because we're all just trying to survive, right? We're all animals just trying to survive. And there really is no difference from from someone who's born and raised in the Netherlands to someone who's born and raised in Venezuela, or someone who's like born and raised in America or whatever. It's like there really is no difference. Like we're all just animals trying to survive. And we all are human and have that like innate value. So it's like I don't understand the anger of and the fear even of someone coming into your country who's not from your country. Like I just cannot wrap my head around the fear of that. What is there to be afraid of? Like, right? The only thing that like people are really afraid of, I think, is really enabled and fueled by these outdated governmental restraints and economic restraints. Like those are, I think, what really drives fear because what? You're afraid that what? They speak another language? That what? They look a little different? Not all sheep look the same. We got different cat breeds, for crying out loud. I just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, if you look at the bigger picture, it makes no sense. We've always been mixed race. It's just becoming more obvious. Yeah, yes. And like one of the people she interviewed was commenting on that, where he was commenting on his own family. He was from, I think, Louisiana originally, and he was talking about how within one generation, was it a language? I think it was a language that his family spoke. Maybe it was Creole. I don't remember, but Creole French or something like that. But anyway, that in one generation, a part of their culture was lost. and that he can see how some people, could be afraid of that, of like losing their culture because we're now mixing the pot a little bit more. I st- I still have a lot of resistance to accepting that as something to be afraid of because culture evolves over time. Culture always evolves and changes over time. No culture has ever stayed the same, like for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, unless they have been isolated. And at the end of the day, this is the situation we're in. We got a shit ton of people on this planet, and you know what? There's only so much room to be moving around, right? There is going to be mixing, and that's just part of natural evolution, right? And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be an exciting thing. Like one of them was talking about how the United States is such a melting pot compared to a lot of other countries as far as like access to different foods and things like that. And how surprised he was that he moved to Amsterdam and no one's ever had Indian food. No one's ever heard of pho, like things like that. It's like it could be a really beautiful thing, and shit, it could be fun. Like I don't know, but just speaking even on the food topic, like I love food. I love food. I love trying new food. There's nothing more exciting than that. There's something very heartwarming about sharing like foods you've never tried with people that you love and care about, or even just like people you're getting to know. It's like that is connection. That is what it is to be human, right? So I don't know, the fear of losing the language to me feels like just really outdated fears of diluting the races, if you will, right? As well. And there's all kinds of implications with that we don't need to get into because that is getting into touchy territory. Um, but yeah, so I'm rambling a little bit at this point. But I think that there are plenty of people that can see the bigger picture. And I think there are a lot of people who are just scared and are afraid of change because what does that mean, right? And then you have these governmental power plays or political power plays or even just the 1%, right? That are influencing things in a way that unfortunately shouldn't be happening. But it's also happening because we are breaking down and integrating shadow for the purpose of evolution too. So I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I'm just free flowing, just sharing. Um, but yeah, so just things I've recently been aware of. Let's see. I feel like I can't leave SoCal because of the variety of foods. I won't lie, I do miss that about California. I do. And even just being in Arizona, I do love that I can have access to pretty good Mexican food. And when I lived in Hawaii, I was like, damn, so hard to get a good chili rano over there. you know? Um, if we have conversations before sound bites, we will relate to each other before we compartmentalize each other. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Topic, Shmunk is like, what's going on? I know this is not a typical video um, at all by any means. And so even with this election, I don't even think there's a lot of things to be afraid of with this election. Hold on, let me back up. Let me back up. I feel like it's coinciding with the changes that are supposed to be happening, right? All this like Pluto Cappy energy. When Pluto goes back into Aquarius, it is going to be. Well, wait, is it actually after the election? Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold up, wait a minute. I know I wrote this down somewhere. I have so many astrology notebooks and binders, like you guys don't even know. I know I wrote this down. Pluto. I feel like it had to be one of the weeklies. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it is. So October 11th, Pluto goes direct in Capricorn. November 5th is election day. November 19th, Pluto moves back into Aquarius. So yeah, Pluto will be in Capricorn on that day too, which also feels like it's going to offer up some closure for the United States as well, just because like literally in the natal chart of the United States, Pluto is in Capricorn. We have been going through a Pluto return. We technically went through the peak of it already a couple of years ago. But the fact that this election is happening while Pluto is ending in Capricorn, who knows? We may be in for some surprises, Because it is about closure. It is about closure. And if you're scared, you're scared. You have the right to be scared. I'm not saying don't ever honor your fear. Right? I'm not an advocate for that. Always honor what it is that you're feeling, recognize what it is that you're feeling. But just taking into account the big picture, understanding that evolution does come with some chaos, some unpleasantness, um, some pain, even. Everything always happens the way it's supposed to. Everything falls in place the way it's supposed to, even if it looks different than what we want it to look like or what we expect it to look like. And we navigate accordingly. We always have. We always have. So, yeah, I think just if you feed into the fear so hardcore that you lose sight of that like humans have been through a lot of shit and they continue to strive and be okay. And we are heading towards it is inevitable. I'm sorry. Like in my mind, tuning into it, it's inevitable that we become a global population, not a population of nations, right, on this planet. Um, there's going to be some ups and downs with that. But I do think that's the end result, right? How could it not be? How could it not be? uh, Same story, different timelines. Yeah, trying to figure that out for myself right now. It's hard. Let's see. How do we know what food agrees with us? Sometimes I'm weak after eating healthy food, but energized after I had processed food. I think that's just a matter of trying to listen to your body. And it's always going to shift, and everything shifts and changes. Like, believe me, I go through the same thing with my body. I like, my body has changed so much over the years and will continue to, because that's also just part of being human. But yeah, trying to like honor what my body is telling me it needs, that's just an ongoing relationship I'm building with my body. So if you read research and follow what your doctor says and all of that, or your nutritionist, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because again, information is powerful and it's empowering. Information is empowering, but the standard is the standard. And we are all unique, right? Like, I know what my body is happy with, I know what it is really unhappy with, and maybe sometimes I get a little surprised that I have to adjust accordingly, right? Or if I'm going through a process like what I'm going through now. So wait, hold on, do I talk about this? Oh, they're giving me the green light. I'm a little surprised. Okay. So this whole like coming full circle today and what led me to this live, right? So you guys know I struggle with sleep. I really struggle with sleep, but this last year in particular, it's been really bad. And I think it has coincided with this like push pull of Cappy and Aqua and old and new and all of that. But recently, like, so this has been a struggle for the last year in particular, like where I'll go like days without sleeping, kind of a thing, which is not good for your body. But today, I didn't fall asleep till like maybe 6 or 7 this morning, and then I woke up at like 10, maybe something like that. Felt like shit. How could you not feel like shit on like such little sleep, right? But every time I wake up, like I'm realizing I feel like I'm drunk, like, or I feel like I'm high, like I'm not getting enough like oxygen, or I'm not like really falling into sleep. And I do have asthma, and it has been definitely exacerbating that. And so I got my mushroom coffee, and I sat here and I'm trying to like calibrate my energy. I'm trying to do my breath work. And I realized definitely I haven't been breathing deep enough because of my asthma. And I think that's been affecting my sleep. But also, I needed to go back to sleep. I was like, I'm taking my butt to sleep, because this last week I've been like dizzy and like weird tingles and sensations, and just like my body has been off. So I go back to sleep, and dream time, I traveled, right? And in this experience, I was definitely traveling to another version of me through time and space, if you will. And I realized what I have been dreaming, like the last month or so, it's been dreams like that, where I'm watching myself or embodying myself, just kind of living life randomly, but not my life, but a different version of me. And I realized that's actually been helping me to alchemize certain things in my body. Like I think I spoke about this on the Aloha Friday live. Maybe that was it. I've been having this like lower right pain in my abdomen, and I've been keeping an eye on it because it's been freaking me out. And I don't want to get too detailed, but in this dream, I saw myself, I approached myself, I embodied myself, and that version of me was going through definitely a major health issue. Definitely. And I'm like living this version of me, and this version of me is finally recognizes something's really wrong, takes care of it, goes and gets medical attention. And as that version of me is like walking out to go get medical attention, I come back, right? And I wake up and I'm like, oh, the pain's gone. Oh, the pain is gone. So I have definitely been alchemizing things in my body that are tied to different versions of me in time and space, which only helps me in the present, which is good, and obviously helps these other versions of me. But it's just that was eye opening, and like coming out of it, I was like, oh, like, oh yeah, interesting. But that also led me to this like full circle moment of like, just, I don't, just like a deeper connected awareness of my own gifts, right? And my own abilities. Is that version of you in another dimension, or is it just subconscious? That version of me never left LA, which I thought was really interesting. It to me, like I know my truth. That is definitely another version of me in another timeline in time and space. Um, Definitely was not just subconscious. And I had never questioned like my choice to leave LA. That felt so right to leave Los Angeles. Like that felt so right in my body. I have never wavered on should I have left LA? Like never wavered on that at all. But that version of me never left. And so the way that that version of me was living was also eye-opening. Like, holy shit, like look at what my life could have been if I never left. And it didn't look great. Honestly, didn't look super awesome. Um, yeah. So, but like I said, I know my truth, and that's my truth. And I could see that lens of reality where someone could say, like, you're just working through stuff and you work through it. I think they're one and the same. They're one and the same, in my opinion. Um, Thank you all, Fractals. Right? Because that's the other thing too. Like we all have these like infinite versions of ourselves in a way in time and space, and they all have made choices that we did not make, right? And they do kind of have to coexist. Like, how do I want to explain this? They do all kind of have to coexist. And so the versions of you that made other choices that led to maybe less desirable realities, in a way, if they didn't make that choice, you couldn't have made the choice you made. They all coincided at the choices coincided at the same time. Like you flipped heads, they had to flip tails. Like there have to be these other fractals of reality for just the coexistence of all things, right? And coexistence of all polarities. So in a way, we should be thankful for those other versions of us because they exist, we exist. And we also get to experience things that they're not experiencing in their active realities, which is kind of amazing when you think about it that way, right? Seeing yourself in a dream is basically astral projection. I've done this since childhood somehow. I don't know. Yeah. Sorry to ask if you had said it. Do you do personal readings? I do. I haven't opened my books again yet because, again, things have been so weird and so wonky. But I can feel that I'm probably going to open them up again soon. And I do want to adjust my services, just like offer a couple other ones that are not on there yet, mostly. So I do want to do that first. But like I said, I've just been very focused on this. This. Even right now, my head is like killing me. Hey, Alejandra, may I email you a question? Absolutely. Absolutely, sister. Thank you. I love this stuff because I know it's real. Can other people visit us in dreams? Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. I have met other dreamwalkers, and when that happens, when I become friends with another dreamwalker, like we hang out in dream time together, and it's cool. It's fun. This talk of self makes me think of this North Node on my ascendant directly right now. Oh, I would imagine why. Yeah. But yeah, definitely email me. Definitely. Just started rewatching Charmed. After it was discussed, I have been feeling the call to rewatch it again. I'm like, I wonder why. There's just so much in that show. Like, if you guys like have never seen Charmed, there is so much in that show. Like little nuggets of consciousness and disclosure and oh shit, does shit really work that way? Not everything, obviously. Not everything. There's definitely some distorted stuff and outdated stuff in there. Um, but yeah, y'all need to watch it and definitely give it a couple seasons. Like the first season, it was still like a lot of character development and it was still like they were still trying to find the fabric of the reality that they were working with. And the second season, still kind of that. But man, once the third season hits, and then the fourth season is still always my favorite season. The fourth, the fifth, and the seventh, I would say, are the best. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, only the original, not the new one. Oh my god, no, the reboot was terrible. I like barely made it past a couple episodes. Like, no. I was so upset as a Charm fan, let me just say. I was so upset when they came out with that reboot. Because if you're gonna do a reboot like that, I'm sorry. It should have some connection, like tangible connection and rooting in the original story, and it didn't. It was almost like they tried to do it from scratch, and it's like, no, that just doesn't work. Like, who made that decision? Like, I think we know by now that does not work with doing reboots. Um, and I think it also just has that, like, how do I want to say it? And maybe this is also just the fact that I'm just from a specific generation, but there's something about newer shows. I just don't like them. Like, I feel like the writing with newer shows is just not nearly as good as the shows from like the 90s and like the early 2000s. And again, that could just be totally generational. Um, but I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't stomach the dialogue. I couldn't stomach the personalities. And I just like, no, the headquarters thing was weird. Yeah, it was just weird. It was just weird. Just weird. And if you're a fan, I'm sorry. I have very strong feelings about Charmed, as you can tell. So if you're a fan of the new one, I apologize, but go watch the old one in its entirety. And if you have and you select the new one, that's cool. These are just very strong feelings that I have about it. The storytelling in the 90s, early 2000s was the best. Yeah, and like with Charmed, like they had so much time to make it such a rich world, and they did. Like you could tell the writers were like, they were top-notch quality writers. Like you could just tell. There's really not too many loopholes either, like no inconsistencies. Like sometimes when a show's been on for a long time and they make little changes here and there, sometimes there's like weird plot holes and inconsistencies. Very few in Charmed, I gotta say, which is kind of impressive considering the level of complexity that world was and all of the rules and all the beings and what can actually happen and what can't happen, and it's just, oh my god, so much stuff. Yeah, I can't believe Shannon's gone, right? That's like kind of weird and surreal. And yeah, I remember when that news hit and I was like, whoa. Like I needed to like have a moment. Like I didn't love the Prue character, but doesn't matter. It's just a character she played, right? Shannon's a human playing characters for a living. But yeah, yeah, that definitely hit. And she had such a hard road too with her illness. And I don't know if you guys like saw the video. I think it was her last night actually, and she like was dancing with her mom and she like put it on her social media, and I was like, oh, it's like very touching, you know? Even the way they did the last episode. Oh, of the original? Yes. Don't talk about it. Don't ruin it for people who haven't seen it. And that's the thing, like this show is worth sticking to the end for. Absolutely. Because even when they got to the last season, I'll be honest, the last season's not great. The last season, the actors were kind of burnt out. They had worked a lot. They didn't want a lot of screen time. So there was a lot of like, they were trying to find ways to fill in the screen time. So a lot of the actors didn't have to work as hard because they've been doing it for like 8 years, right? Kaylee Kukuo, so they introduced her into the show. I think that was her breakout role, if I'm not mistaken, before Big Bang Theory. But anyway, so I wasn't sure how they would wrap it up because the last season was not off to a good start and I was having a really hard time getting through it. but oh my God, so worth it. So worth it making it to the very last episode. So, encouragement to just do the series. I started rewatching it as well recently. Okay, I'm gonna take that as confirmation. It's time for me to start rewatching it because I have also been struggling with like just like certain things to watch because I've also got rid of most of my streaming services just to save money. Take that as confirmation too. I'm going to go back and rewatch seasons. Yes, fall is a great season for. Oh, you know what? That's so true. Fall is a good time to rewatch it. That's very true. That's very true. All right, maybe I will. Maybe I will. What happened? Wait, no, we can't tell you what happened for people who may not know. We can't tell you. Don't, no, we can't tell you. We need a book club, but about the show. I was literally just having that thought. Like, it'd be fun to do little, like, what you call it? Watching lives. I've been wanting to do it with my patrons for so long. I just haven't been in the place to have the right tech set up. I started getting familiar with, what's it called? OBS Studio. Me and technology have a weird relationship. I tried really hard to learn that system and to get it working. But the way that it works with like the dual screen situation for me, and maybe it's my neurodivergence, it's very distracting and it kind of gives me a lot of anxiety. And so I haven't found a good way to like set it up to where I can like watch something with my patrons and we can all like kind of hang out. Yeah, like a watch party. But I've been wanting to do it with my patrons forever, like forever. I want to say for probably over 2 years now, I've been wanting to do that with my patrons. So yeah, it would be nice to have that figured out. And I just keep hoping it'll come to pass at some point. But yeah, with what I got going on right now, it doesn't really work. But yeah, we kind of went off on some tangents now. I'm gonna take that as a sign that it's probably time to go. I do want to get to do Capricorn and Pisces though before it gets dark, since I spent most of the day traveling. Pluto TV has it, but with some ads. Peacock has it too. At least to my understanding, they still have it. If they don't, I'll be very sad. That's the only one that I kept was Peacock because it was the cheapest, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think Peacock has it. I have a friend who has their Book of Shadows. Oh, they do. Oh, that's awesome. There's nothing like making your own grimoire or Book of Shadows. There's nothing like that. I'm at the point where, actually, okay, so just really quick, and then I'm gonna go. 5 years ago, going way back now, 5 years ago, I bought a book that I intended to do that for, but I realized I can't just start writing in it. It's like, it definitely needs to be like a labor of love. And so I'm at the point where I think I can start writing in it, which is kind of exciting. And it's just been sitting there waiting for years, waiting for me to get like all my information in order. Because like, while I talk a lot about astrology and even just the occult and different like spiritual thought forms, if you will, I do a lot of other things too. I research a lot of other things too. And so I have all these like random notebooks of stuff and even just different rituals that I've done, different like tinctures and tonics that I've done, and just all kinds of things. So I definitely think it's time to start consolidating soon, which is gonna be, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I hope you get more sleep. Thank you, me too. I've been having considerable trouble sleeping too, but only about the last few weeks. Yeah. 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 I think a lot of people have been experiencing that. And so I think sleep potentially can start getting better for people. When Pluto goes back into Aquarius, though, in November, I don't know, we'll see. I think it's hard to gauge right now. There's something about this, like, first phase of Pluto being in Aquarius that just feels a little, yeah, it's like, I feel like it's just fully embodying the shadow. Which doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be unpleasant. With any kind of shift, there's going to be challenges, right? So anyway, I don't want to go into all that again. I feel like we talked about it pretty thoroughly, but yeah, that's what I have to say about that. I am of the generation that has Pluto and Leo. This is having some impacts. Oh my God, I can only imagine. I will celebrate when Uranus leaves Taurus. Thank you. I'll email you. Yes, absolutely. You were traveling yesterday and Friday? Okay, yeah, definitely email me and I will get to it as soon as I can. I know there's a couple people who have been like, have you seen my email? So I know there's probably some emails I need to look at. Um, Wishing you sleep, restful sleep. Thank you. But like I said, I'm going to do the Capricorn and Pisces reading now and hopefully get some really good sleep tonight. And like I said, for the New Moon Live, anybody who wants access to that, it is on Patreon. I'll probably try to upload it to Vimeo tonight, and I'll make a post about it when I do, because I do want to do the shorts for the New Moon Virgo as well. Um, yeah, yeah, that's all that needs to be said. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go. Love you guys. I will see you guys later. Have a great Sunday, a great new moon. For those in the States, have a good holiday weekend. And, well, you guys are going to see me live tomorrow anyway, Monday, for the weekly. So I'll see you guys later, okay? Take care.